Welcome to this week's edition of the Pioneer Coaches Show. With me now, I have head cross country coach Dan Meyers. Coach, thanks for being here today.
Jagger, thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
All right, Coach. First thing, you returned to the course this past week at Youngstown State. Your thoughts on that?
It was a beautiful venue, no doubt about it. We were the first teams to run. The collegiate men and women were the first teams to ever run on the course. The course had a little bit of everything. It was beautiful. I foresee us going back there probably in the future, if not next year, in a few years or so. But yeah, it was a beautiful venue. Guys experienced 8K for the first time. We had some ups and downs. There's no doubt about it. But from where we were this time last year, I'm still excited to keep this thing building and growing.
Yeah, and you mentioned those. Natalie Barr was a top 10 finisher on the women's side. Patrick Riley finished 18th, but was a top freshman finisher in the course. Do you feel like that longer course, though, also kind of affected your runners there towards the end?
Yeah, so mostly on their GPS watches, which you take it for a grain of salt. The women's course was 0.10 longer. The men's was probably 0.11 to 0.14 long. And it is what it is. Everyone ran on the same course. You got to show up. You got to run no matter the circumstances. Honestly, I think it cost us some all-time marks, selfishly. But I think it did kind of, halter some faster finishes, with a quarter mile to go or so. But, I think, honestly, I'm going to use it as an advantage for the girls because we haven't raced a 6K yet. And next week, we'll be heading to Lock Haven, and they'll run their first 6K of the season. Very favorable course, Pancake Flat. I mean, honestly, from what they ran with the longer course this past weekend, I mean, we got to run another 0.47 and, less than 800 meters. Mm-hmm. So I think they're ready for that. And, overall, like Natalie, great race, third conference runner in the field, ran super strong, super smart, worked her way through the top 10, top 15 most of the race. Jenna Barnett kind of followed her with the top 20 finish. She's been a great freshman for us. She's working hard. And then Pat, I mean, just again, raced like a veteran. Charleston's guys, they're a top 25 team in the country. They got out pretty hard with the top 10, and he kind of battled in that that 10 to 20 spot the whole meet. And a lot of the time he was kind of in no man's land. He really wasn't around to pack. He ran strong the entire time, and I think through 8K, based on his watch, he ran about low 26s, so we're excited this weekend to see what he can do.
How do you feel that your guys race in the 8K, especially for a lot of those freshmen? It's the first time they've ever done it before.
We had a few DNFs on the men's side this weekend. Some variable injuries, and it was kind of some in-meet decisions just to kind of back some guys down and just drop them out, and just so we can kind of focus moving forward this week. It's too early to be forcing people through some things, and I think that we'll get healthy and get right for Lock Haven. But some guys stepped up. I mean, for sure. Jackson Mellett went from our 3 to our 2 guy, ran a great back half of the race. BJ got back up into our top 5 with some veteran leadership. And obviously we talked about what Pat did. Caden Davis had a strong meet, kind of faded towards the end, but he's still getting better every single week. And then just some other guys. We were really truly packed together from about 5 to 8. We can tighten that gap a little bit, but I think we're ready for another 8K this weekend for sure.
And we talked about it a little bit yesterday. The women, when you look at it, 1 through 5, 1 through 7. You're getting closer to a regionally ranked team in West Virginia Wesleyan overall. Your thoughts on, just getting to that level already?
Yeah, Wesleyan, Coach Chambers done a phenomenal job with her men and women's teams. Both have been ranked this season in the top 10. Her men had an excellent meet. And their women are very young, just like ours. And, they were ranked in the top 10 last week. And I believe the first meet we were about 17 points back of them, about an 88-runner field. We added about 25, 30 runners into this meet, and we closed the gap for a few more points. So it'll be interesting this week with a few hundred runners in the field at Lock Haven. They're still very, very strong. Leah Hall is a great runner for them. Natalie's kind of been close, relatively close, and then Jenna's kind of been ahead of where their 2's been at. So they just got a lot more depth, and we got to work through that. They're a great team, but it's a good goal to shoot for. For us kind of moving into the latter half of the season.
And lastly, this coming week, your race at Lock Haven. It's the same course that you'll race at for the Atlantic Regional race. What are your expectations out of your team this coming weekend?
A few things. I want to see how they respond to a race going out a lot faster. This week, they kind of got a short preview of it. The first mile on the Youngstown course was relatively flat and fast, but Lock Haven's a completely different animal. It's so flat that if you don't get out in the right pack, you're going to get left behind. So my biggest thing for the girls and the guys is put your nose in it. I'm going to point out some conference people that we need to be with. We'll see about 5 conference schools, which is huge. D&E, who's top 3 in the region on both sides, men and women. They've gotten votes in the top 30 in the country. We'll see Point Park. Their women are very strong. They were really close to us last time. Their men are good. We'll see Frostburg. We'll see West Liberty, Wesleyan again. So my expectation really is on the women's side. I mean, we're gonna shake up that 6K all-time list for sure. That's one thing I'm really excited about, and I believe that if within the right race, we're gonna get 2 or 3 men in that mix as well. So we just got to keep hammering the workouts, stay healthy, take care of the little things, like I say, and I'm excited for the weeks to come.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you coming on today, and good luck this week.
Yep, thank you.
Welcome back to the Pioneer Coaches Show. With me now, I have head volleyball coach Kiara Perkins. Coach, thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
All right, Coach. First thing, your thoughts on the Salem win on Tuesday night last week?
It was definitely a very needed win. I know at the very beginning of the season and stuff with the tournaments that we played in, definitely not how we wanted to start off. So, and that's what we want at the beginning of the season. We want to have the tougher competition. We want to have that kind of look on our games and stuff, and what we want to work on and focus on for especially like this week with a conference starting. But yeah, last week with Salem, it was really good, really just to get a win before conference starts.
And do you feel that was a much needed win, not just before you go on a 10-day break, but also, like you said, before the conference schedule? Do you feel like that was much needed to get?
It was. I mean, it still shows like stuff that we need to work on, like still limiting our errors, doing better and stuff. And, that's what we're about. I say progress over perfection and stuff. So as long as we're moving in the right direction and not taking steps back, that's what we look for.
And I mentioned the 10-day break. How's that went? You played 10 days without a game, a lot of practice. Do you feel like that's been beneficial to your girls?
It has been very beneficial, getting to break stuff down again, really implementing our good foundation and stuff, because once our conference game starts, we're not going to get another break like this, that we can focus on some things more rather than just getting repetitions and stuff as the games get started. But, it was definitely, it has been a good break. We even had our alumni game over the weekend as well. So it was good to see alumni and the girls to get to talk to other people that have been through this program.
And Keely Chrisman, she's 3rd on the team in kills with 51. Were you expecting this out of her, as a true freshman?
As a true freshman and stuff, sometimes you don't, you can't expect what will come from that. But she's definitely one that has stepped up to the plate, and just the energy that she brings to the court. It's definitely contagious and stuff, and I think especially with our team, very energy-based, and I think that she just adds to our program, which is exactly what we needed.
And now you move into the conference slate. You'll start off with Fairmont State on Friday night on the road. They're 8-5 this year. What have you seen out of them, and what do you expect out of your girls on Friday night?
So going into this conference match, this is really going to be for us to set the tone. And I know like our record, I mean, we're 2-8 right now, and sometimes like the record doesn't show like our full potential and stuff. So, I mean, we understand that going in, but also have to understand that like we can't take any teams lightly, and really that we just have to play at our level no matter who it is across the net from us. But definitely Fairmont, I mean, they have returning players, looking forward to seeing them again and how our girls react against the conference.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you coming on today, and good luck on Friday.
Thank you.
Welcome back to the Pioneer Coaches Show. With me now, I have head women's soccer coach J.R. Dodson. Coach, thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having me, Jagger.
All right, Coach. Started out last week with a 1-0 win at home over Davis and Elkins. Just your thoughts on that game.
That was a weird game, frustrating game for us. We win 1-0, but the players, myself, after that game, we really didn't feel like we won. It's just one of the strangest feelings I've ever had after a victory. And I think part of that comes down to, you just outplaying them so much but not scoring.
Is that something that stems from you get so many shots off, you get so many shots on goal, and they didn't really control the game that much. Is that where that kind of comes from?
Yeah, and then the thing about our game is, and I always preach, is the best team doesn't always win, and we were definitely the best team out there.
Yep.
But one lucky shot from them, and it's a tie ball game. Yep. So you got to be able to put your chances away if you're going to be a champion level team.
And then Sunday, you went to Charleston. You had a 1-0 lead at half. Scored about 5 minutes into the game, but then in the second half, Charleston scores 3 goals to pull away 3-1. Your thoughts on that loss?
It was a rough one. It was a rough loss. I think going into that, I really thought we had a really good chance to win. And I think it's like 25 minutes left. We're still
1-0.
Winning 1-0.
Yep.
We had 2 other great opportunities. Not to take anything away from Charleston, they had a couple good opportunities in the first half as well. Lucia steps up big for us on a couple saves. So I think what got us the most there at that game was the heat and not having some depth in the middle. We just started slowing down. And we had 2 players that had to go out, and really thankful for Jordan, our athletic trainer, that day. If he wasn't there, it'd have been really rough because we had 2 players laying over on the sideline with ice over top of them, trying to cool them down.
And now you move into this coming week. You're going to start out at West Virginia Wesleyan on Wednesday. They're 1-4 right now, winless in the Mountain East Conference. They only got beat by Charleston 3-2, but they're without a head coach. They lost 5-0 to State. Your expectations out of your girls there on the road on Wednesday?
I just hope we bounce back with the mentality of what it takes to win, because I've preached to the team from the very beginning. We have the talent to beat every team in this conference. Now it comes down to mentality, and I believe that's what happened yesterday. Charleston just had that winning mentality and ended up getting us. So going over to Wesleyan, it's always gets in the girls' heads that they got to go over there and play on that grass field, which isn't always the best. Thankfully, it's early in the season, so I'm hoping it's pretty decent shape. But I mean, as you know, we haven't had any rain.
Yep.
So who knows what the field looks like. So we just got to go over there and do what we're supposed to do. And if we do that, we should be fine.
And then you'll finish out the week against Concord, a team who won 12 games last year, made it to the NCAA tournament. They're 2-0-1 right now in the Mountain East Conference. Your thoughts on that game? I mean, that's another big conference game early on in the season.
I'm just super excited for it. Super excited for it, because those are the teams you want to play, and those are the games that really stick out to everybody that's in the conference. So I guarantee if you're playing Concord State or Charleston, everybody in the conference is watching those games. So I'm looking forward to that, but we got to take care of Wesleyan first, and then we'll figure out what's going to happen with Concord.
And then lastly, the school's all-time leading scorer, Meryl Smets, is still goalless through 5 games. She had 11 goals last year. Do you feel that teams are kind of keying in on her, or she just hasn't really been able to get shots on goal as much as she did last year?
No, she's getting the shots off. She just got to put them away. I mean, she had a couple of D&E. Then in the state game, she was there in front of the goal with a couple. I think she'll get them. They'll come. It's kind of like a cleanup hitter who's in a slump, and I think she'll bounce out of it. Once one falls, I think you'll start seeing her back on track again.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you coming on today, and good luck this coming week.
All right, thank you, Jagger.